Okay, week 2, we had a focus question. Actually, a couple of them. They are, what do people throw away? And where does our trash go? So, our large group, our question was, did you throw something away today? And then if they said yes, then we talked about what they threw away. And our movement was a tap, tap, tap song with our wood pieces. It was just a fun movement activity, and just, having a little bit more hands-on with our wood pieces from our Learning Without Tears. And then we read the book Something from Nothing. So before we read it, we talked about if you could make something from nothing. I love that book. I love the little story of the mice along the bottom. That is just my favorite part about that story. And then for our small group that day, we did a show and tell first. And then also we let the families know that the kids had to bring 3 pieces of trash or recyclable, like something that they threw away. And then we talked about it and how we could reuse them, and how maybe they could, would it go in trash or recycle? I'm sorry that I'm not looking at the camera a lot because my computer's over here, and I want to make sure that I am telling you everything that we did. Our seesaw assignment that day was a second step about naming feelings. They had to respond to how they would name feelings, or I can't remember what it was, but something about naming feelings. The play activities, there was a mindful moment, making a bowling game using cups or cans or bottles, and they could, if they had a ball, they could use that, or they could scrunch up a piece of newspaper that they were done with and try using that as a ball. We had them create, they got them in their beginning of the school year bag, their supply bag. They got tiny little journals. So we were starting a new journal, a reduce, reuse, recycle journal, and they had to write or draw what they found in their trash that day. Another one was play Go Fish. If they didn't have Go Fish, they could use scrap paper or paper that they were going to throw out anyways, and make their own Go Fish game. And then the other one was read 3 or more books, and how are the books similar and different? To have that little discussion with somebody in their home. On Tuesday, our question of the day was, does all trash stink? And we talked about the book I Stink, because it's called I Stink, and so we were looking at why trash might stink. And then also we talked about, in the book it has a piece of trash for every letter of the alphabet, and we went through that. We actually didn't read the whole story again. We just looked at those pages and talked about the piece of trash. Would it stink, and could it be? Look at my dog is walking out of here. She's done. If it could be reused. A lot of them could not, but it was fun to talk about it. Our assignment that day was creating their own pattern. They did a pattern with the seesaw shapes on that assignment. The play and choice activities, a mindful moment, yoga with Miss Danielle. Can you think of a piece of trash that starts with every letter of the alphabet? That was actually a good one to see too, that there were some families that wrote things down or drew pictures and then shared that on Seesaw. Another one was bowling again, and then putting numbers on each of the bowling pins, and then adding up what their score was when they, actually just like real bowling. And then we had a question, how would the trash be different and the same at your home or at a restaurant or at school? What kind of things would there be similar, and what kind of things would be different? And then on Wednesday, our asynchronous day, the Seesaw assignment was a virtual field trip to a dump, and a question about waste and what we can do maybe to reduce the amount of stuff that goes to the dump. And there was a second step social emotional lesson on naming feelings. And our play and choice activities that day was a movement activity. I'm sure it was a dance along. There was another one. Oh, there was a My Body Jumps. I think that's a mindful moment. Not a mindful moment. Mighty Minutes. It's Mighty Minutes 72 for those people who use creative curriculum. I think that I created an example, and then they had to create their own movements to it. There was a reread of The Paper Bag Princess, and then my co-teacher read it and then also used things around his home, like reusable things, to use for sound effects in the story. And then the kids were to do the same thing, reading a story with their family and maybe making the sound effects for it. And then, they created their own I Can Read book. So using environmental print of things, wrappers and boxes and things like that. So that was Wednesday. On to Thursday, our large group. Our question of the day was, do you know where our trash goes after we throw it away? And we sang the recycle song. Well, let me just grab it. And you get to hear my lovely singing voice. And I made up actions to it. And it goes, recycle, recycle, let's sort all the trash, recycle, recycle, paper, plastic, glass, recycle, recycle, don't throw it in the trash. We'll take the cartons and the cans and make them all go smash. And of course, they love the smash part the best. That one is actually a Mighty Minute from our creative curriculum. So we read the Sam Helps Recycle. All of these books are actually part of our creative curriculum. I will put a photo here of the cover of the book if I can find them, which I think I can, so you can know what books they are. And then what did we talk about? Oh, looking at the book because is it fiction or nonfiction? And we read part of the book because it's a long one. It's has facts in it, but it also has a talking dog. So we talked about how that was nonfiction because of the talking dog. Our seesaw assignment that day, sort trash. There was a little sorting, like a click and drag activity. Do you think it would be recycled or would it go in the trash? And the play at choice time activities was a movement activity, probably a dance along because my co-teacher did that one. And like I said, he loves dance alongs. Their journal, adding the word dump to their journal and drawing a picture of what they might find at a landfill or dump. And then another one was making boats out of recyclable materials, whatever was in your recycle bin, and putting small objects in them to see if you could make the boat, and then making prediction if it would float or sink. And then go on a feelings scavenger hunt, and we linked a little chart. So finding things that made them feel happy, that kind of thing. I will link that one too because it was kind of sweet. That's Thursday. On to Friday. Question of the day was it was a picture of crushed cans. 2 pictures. Does this have more than this one? Does number 1 have more than number 2? And we were talking about the word compact, and one of them had not compacted cans and the other one did. So we talked about that. And then we did the recycle song again for our movement. We talked about what kind of things we can recycle, and then we read the other half of Sam Help Recycles, and talked again about things that we can recycle. And then for our seesaw assignment that day, it was an expert video. We try our best to get experts. If we were in the classroom, we would have them come into the class, but I asked the custodian of our school if we could record a video on what happened to the trash and recycling at school when it left our classroom. So we did that. He had a little thing on what things can be recycled at school and what could not. And then we went on a little journey. He showed us how he dumped it into the recycling, our trash into the recycling or trash can. We went for a little walk out to the big bins, and he talked about after he dumped them in the big bins where they went. So, and then the kids had to respond to that, saying one thing that they learned or found interesting, or if they had a question about what they learned or what they saw. Their choice time activities was a mindful moment, a yoga with me. And like I've said, I just do like a 3 to 5 minute little yoga video, super simple, that they can follow along with. Make props or costumes to go along with their favorite story. That was one of their player choice time activities. Play a guessing game. Have someone fill a container with some objects and you have to guess without counting how many objects are in there, and then kind of explaining your guess. Add the word recycle to your journal and draw the recycling symbol. And so we shared what the recycling symbol looked like. I don't know what I was drawing there, but the recycling symbol. And then the other one was a link to our librarian, the librarian in our town, the public library. She records videos for us. She usually comes to our classroom once a month and does a half-hour story time and songs and poems with the kids. So she now sends us a link to that. And so there was a link to that we shared with the kids. So that was recycling, reduce, reuse, recycle week 2. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. I know it's hard to sit and just listen when I don't have stuff to show you, but give me a thumbs up if you like it. Hit the subscribe button so you can not miss out on my next video, and have a happy day.